Hi, I'm Captain Mike. Today we're going to talk about resins. I've been using what I call epoxy pretty much all my life. Started off using a Bondo resin to put on fiberglass cloth to repair cars, airplanes, boats, whatever I was working on at the time. And I've been doing that for many years, as long as I can remember. And then in the granite industry, we also had a product called a Chemi. It was a German cement at the time and quite revolutionary. Two-part true epoxy, I'm pretty sure. But we called it epoxy, and we glued rocks together with it, and first one thing and another. So the other day I got kind of interested in resin casting. Didn't know much about it. So I went online, YouTube, as usual, and I started to do my research. Didn't take long for my head to start to hurt, and I still had more questions than I had answers. The more I dug, the more confused I became. And it seemed that a lot of people were promoting their own products or something that they preferred over other products, which is fine, but that wasn't what I was looking for. So I finally found out enough that I said, I'm just going to make my own video. We're going to cut to the quick on this, and I'm going to give you as much information as quickly as I can. So with that said, we're going to clear all these away. Some I had on hand, and some that I purchased specifically for this video. No one donated anything to me. I had to purchase it all. So everything I tell you is my experience with it, and I won't pull any punches. I hope that it'll help you when we get this thing wrapped up. So, okay, we're going to clear away this mess, and then we're going to come back, and I'm going to show you what I found out. The tests that I run on all of these resins, be they polyurethane, be they polyester, or be they true epoxy, which is the three brands, not to include the ultraviolet, which I don't have a clue what it is. The test I ran was for clarity, how they mixed, work time, whether you could accelerate the curing with heat, and did they have much odor, and of course lastly but most important was what they cost per ounce. Now we're going to start off with what I am the most familiar with, and that is this casting resin, and it is a polyurethane, which means it dries very fast, and this particular one dries opaque, a cream color. I use a lot of it and have in the past, and it comes from a Specialty Resins chemical company. I'll put all of these websites that are where you can get them in the comments below, so at the end of this. But that particular product is used to cast things with, as is with this little guy right here. And that's just a little cast I made, but that's what that particular material is for. And I started off casting jewelry pieces, or not jewelry so much as something that I could use in pendants and first one thing and another. And as you can see, it casts great. It takes color really well. That's just some gold mica, and that stuff works really good. It, of course, is not clear, so you can't be able to see the ABC through there. But it does take color very well, and that's some kind of pink mica, or actually it's not mica, excuse me, it's glitter that I got at the Dollar Tree, and I just added it to it. So that worked with that. And this, you're going to see these from time to all the way through. That's my control piece. Okay, that's what I added color to see how well the one stuck to another, one type of resin sticks to another. The others that I'm very familiar with is this Defcon stuff. I've used a ton of this. It is basically an adhesive. I mean, that's what I always used it for. I've got the 5-minute and I've got the regular. It runs you about, well, let's start at the top. It's the 5-minute. You know, it's not real clear. It's supposed to be, but it's not. And you can see right here that you can't see the ABC through there. And that's one I just run a while ago just to double check it, and it's still kind of light. And that's some with some glitter in it. And here's some with some green in it, glitter in it, some green colorant and some glitter. So that's just if you happen to have some that you got at the hardware store. That's the ones that I am familiar with. The rest of these I'd never used. So I started off. And by the way, this Defcon 5-minute it's gonna cost you about $1.85 an ounce. So kind of keep that in mind. The first one we're going to review though is another polyurethane. Excuse me, I messed that up. Dropped that right on it. It wasn't even dry yet. It's a polyurethane, and it is from Specialty Resins chemical company. It dries very fast. It's semi-clear. It's a polyurethane, and it dries semi-clear. It's got a few bubbles in it. Now, none of these tests were run with a pressure pot. I just stirred the heck out of these things. Didn't try to do anything. Let the bubbles come wherever they're going to come. I did them all the same. They mixed 1-to-1. Work time, you have about 2.5 minutes. You can demold in about 15 minutes. You cannot heat accelerate it. The odor has very little odor, dissipates what little there is. It costs you 64 cents an ounce. And that's it right there. That's the little scarab made out of it. And can you see that? That's the ABC through it. Okay. Now, the next one that we're going to do, well, actually, I messed up. That's the color on it, which that's the control. The next one that we're going to show you is Aqua Clear. Now, this is a popular one. Again, there's my control. The Aqua Clear. You can see right through there how clear that is. It does have bubbles in it. And here is the little scarab. And that is the Aqua Clear. It is 1-to-1 mixing time. You have 16 minutes to work with it. It demolds in 24 hours. You cannot heat accelerate it. There's no odor. And it costs $1.21 an ounce for the Aqua Clear. Okay, one of these days I'll get all this stuff straightened out here. Okay, the next one we're going to talk about is another specialty resin chemical company, Epoxy. The first three were the only polyurethanes that I used. The next ones will be epoxies. They're 2-part epoxies. This one is again, like I said, from Specialty Resin. It is their clear epoxy. It's very clear, has very few, if any, bubbles. It's a great product. And of course, that's the color on a piece of the control. Again, whatever, I usually put polyurethane on top of a epoxy and vice versa, just to see how everything was going to stick. There's no problem. Everything's stuck with everything else, so we don't even need to go into that. The next one that I'm going to do is Alumilite. That's another very popular one. And you can see here, it's also very clear. I don't think it's quite as clear as the Epoxy-It. Slight yellow tinge, but it is clear. It mixes 1-to-1. You have 4 minutes of work time. It demolds in, 40 minutes of work time, and it demolds in 24 to 48. It does not accelerate with heat, very little odor, and it costs 78 cents an ounce. There again, it colors up well. All of these cover up well. So that's those, and that's little scarabs out of the Alumilite. That's the one that has some glitter in it. Works really nice, and that's kind of a little clear one. And here we have, this one here is a little bit misleading, so I'm going to give you as much information as I can. This is a product from Rio Grande online, and I've had this stuff a long time. Their technical support, unless you call them on the phone, is about non-existent. They out of all everybody that I sent an email message to, they didn't respond. However, I have had this product for quite a while, so that probably added to it being a little yellow. Okay, you can see through it, it's clear. It's called Raindrop, the stuff that I bought. It's called Raindrop, and now they call it Doming Resin. And it's probably clearer, but there was a report on their website, a comment that somebody said that their stuff started to turn yellow after a little time. I don't know. That's something that you'll have to do. I haven't tried it. I can't verify it. There it is again on green, and I mean some green colorant in it, and I think that's just probably some oxide, and that's one of the little scarab beetles that I do, and it just has gold glitter in it. It is from Rio Grande, and it's supposed to be clear. 1-to-1 mixing with work time. Nowhere on their website does it say what their work time is. I'm assuming you have 15-20 minutes. I don't know. It didn't take me that long to do this. You demold in 24 hours. It is heat acceleratable, if that's the word. Yes, you can add heat. About 110 to 20 to 50 degrees, depending on what you want to do, and for an hour or 2 or 3 in a toaster oven, and it hardens right up. And it does do that. The other product that I'm going to mention from Rio Grande, simply because I bought them all at the same time, it is not a clear product, but it's a product you might be interested in, and they do work very well. And that is what they call their colors line, and they spell it C-O-L-O-R-E-S with an E in it. And it is an opaque epoxy. You mix it 1 part hardener to 2 parts of their color resin, and it comes in a rainbow. You just have to get on Rio Grande's website and look. It comes in just a great amount of different colors. Your work time, again, they don't tell you. They've got videos. Watch the videos. The videos are great, but they don't give you the kind of information that I wanted. Same as their doming. It clears in 24 hours or cures in 24 hours unless you want to add heat. Same amount of heat, roughly from 110 to 150 degrees for anywhere from an hour to 3, and that will do it. And of course those are the colors. This is coral. It's right nice, and that is their green with a little glitter added in. They are very hard. They don't bend, and that worked out really good. This one is an interesting one. Only because everybody should have some in their shop. It's just a great thing to mend things with, maybe to do some casting on something that you just need, something that's kind of inexpensive to see how it's going to cast, and you're not worried about anything else, and that is the Bondo. It is transparent amber, but you just about can't read the stuff through it, and it stays kind of sticky. I cleaned one side off with mineral spirits and one side off with lacquer thinner. The lacquer thinner sort of got it where it's not sticky. The edges are sticky because I did not clean those. Can you see through it? You can see through it. And it's just a nice amber if you wanted to do that. The great thing about it is you mix like an ounce of resin to 10 drops, and believe me, they'll drop out just perfect, of their hardener. You just drop, 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 drop. They'll tell you how to do it in instructions, no problem. And mix it all up, and you better be prepared. You've got like 8 to 10 minutes work time if you've got that. It's heat sensitive. It depends on the humidity. It depends on the heat of the temperature outside and everything about how it sets up. Very strong odor. Very strong odor. I don't disapprove of it. I've been working in it so long, it doesn't bother me, but it would bother some people. It's going to linger in your shop. Be aware of that. But I would have some of this in my shop all the time because you can mend so many things with it, and it's 47 cents an ounce. It's the cheapest thing you can get. So keep that in mind when you're going to you know, when you just need something around to experiment with. The last one here is quite a surprise. This is the UV stuff, and I wasn't paying attention when I ordered it off of Amazon, and it came out of China. It took 2 weeks to get here, okay? But it's probably the clearest, other than maybe the Epoxy-It might be as clear. This is just a little bit clearer than Epoxy-It, believe it or not. No bubbles to speak of, none. There's no mixing. Work time, I guess you got all you want, unless you want to leave it in the, unless you take it outside and then it's going to start. You cannot heat accelerate it. There is no odor. But, okay, grab a hold of your trousers, folks. It costs $3.55 an ounce. So you won't be playing with it just for grins and giggles. Now, of all of these, this one domes. Yeah, you know, you can't see that probably, but I poured it in the mold and took it outside. It cured in about less than an hour. I mean, it cured quick. You're gonna have to clear both sides. It'll be tacky on the back, and so I cleared it on both sides, and that got it. But be aware that it is expensive. I did the color though, worked great. I took a little bit of it, put some pink or fuchsia or whatever color that is, and some glitter in it. Took it back out in the sun. It worked great. It hardened out just fine. Now all of these, of course, are hard. These have all been cast for a while. You're not going to break this polyurethane from SRC. The semi-clear from SRC is also very, very, very hard. It's not flexible at all. As is, let's see, the Aqua Clear is very hard. No flex at all. No flex on the Epoxy-It. I don't expect that from the specialty company. It works great. Let's see here. The Alumilite is flexible. It is not hard. You could bend it. If I wanted to bend that double, I could. Don't know what that means. It's pretty clear, but it takes colors and all that, but you can flex it. The Rio Grande Raindrop that I used, which is now replaced with the Doming Resin, is hard. And of course I don't have the this one here. We'll flex one of these little rascals. It don't flex. I know this doesn't flex. You can throw it on the ground and it'll bust. It's the hardest of the resins. The Bondo is the hardest of the resins. This stuff right here, your UV, it has a little flex to it, but I expect for it to continue to get harder if you left it out in the sun longer, but it doesn't have a flex that you'd really notice. So pretty much that's it. The cheapest one you can get is your Bondo product, and then the most expensive that you can get is your UV resin, and with the others coming in at like I said, the polyurethane casting resin is what I use the most of. It's 63 cents an ounce. The semi-clear polyurethane that they have is 64 cents an ounce. The Aqua Clear is $1.21 an ounce, and the Epoxy-It epoxy is 75 cents an ounce. The Alumilite, the only one that flexed out of the bunch, which doesn't mean anything, is 78 cents an ounce. The stuff from Rio Grande, whether it's the Doming, which I think is all you can get, it's $1.69 an ounce. It's high. Their colors is roughly the same thing. You have to order the colors and then you have to order the hardener, but it's going to be roughly $1.69, I would imagine, time you do the math. And as I said, this stuff from China, which looks to be promising as for its technical quality, $3.55 an ounce, folks. Defcon, the original one that I use that is not designed to cast with, you can see here, It is not designed to be cast with at all. It's $1.85 an ounce, so it's not really cost effective either if you're going to do a lot of casting. So I'm pretty sure I have forgotten some stuff. I told you how much the costs are. I'll try to do a document on this. I don't know that I can embed it, but I'll try. It looks like the Epoxy-It by Specialty Resins Company is one of the clearest. It is an epoxy. The Chinese stuff UV is equally as clear. I don't know what it is. It's something that UV cures. And Alumilite is a little disappointing, both in its flexibility and its clarity. And of course, I didn't expect the semi-clear SRC stuff to be really clear, but it surprised me. And it does have bubbles in it too. So the bubbles you got to deal with. Fast rising, fast curing stuff, they don't come to the top quick enough for you to burn them off with a little propane torch. The stuff that dries slow does. They'll come to the top. You can kind of burn them off. We're not getting into tips and tricks and stuff. That's for later. All I wanted to do is show you what you could get. The three types there are, which is polyurethane, polyester, and epoxy, plus whatever the UV stuff is. That's the three types. The polyester is the cheapest, and it dries quick and stinks. The polyurethane dries quick. It's relatively inexpensive. You can get it in clear, semi-clear, and opaque, and it dries quick. All the epoxies, with the exception of the Raindrop, which can be heat activated, or the Rio Grande, which can be heat activated, take 24 hours. So pretty much, folks, that's it. I hope I didn't forget anything. I hope I didn't confuse you too much. And maybe this will clear up just a little bit of any confusion you might have on what you want to use to do your resin casting. So it took a while to get here. And I'm not sure I did it adequately, but that is my video on casting resins. And I'm Captain Mike, and I'm out of here.